And welcome to our 5 simple mistakes that are stopping you from getting more referrals. And as I mentioned earlier, where this has come from was we had a number of things that have taken place over the past week of people where they just were going, I just don't seem to be getting the number of referrals that I wanted. And as we dug deeper into the conversation, there were some common themes. And the common themes were pretty much simple things that I think take place more often than not, and we just don't even consciously think about them in terms of them actually affecting us getting referrals. So I thought, let's put this on, great education piece to be able to help people. That's all this webinar is. There's nothing to sell, nothing to buy. It is purely education to help people be able to generate more referrals and to be able to help them be able to get to what I suppose my mission is at the moment. And that's getting people generating 1 referral a day. So every day for someone to generate a referral is the mission that I'm on, and helping people to be able to do that. But let's get ourselves stuck into it. Please feel free. There will be a recording of this given out, so you will be able to have this. But take as many notes as you can, write down questions, and I'll get them answered throughout too. But let's get ourselves stuck into it. So your thinking certainly does determine your results. And I'm sure that you have heard that many a times before. But in terms of your thinking with referrals, the way that you act and the way that you think will determine the success that you have in terms of the number of referrals that you have. So for example, if you're someone who goes, it's all about me, you're going to find it very hard for anyone to want to partner with you. So you've got to learn to give first before asking for something back. If you are a hunter rather than a farmer, it'll be very hard for you to generate referrals that will sustain your business, because no one will want to do anything with you. So that's a mindset shift that needs to occur. Another mindset shift that needs to occur is you need to learn how to add value to another person that you're talking to. So as a prime example, people go out to different networking events and they make it all about themselves. It's I need to talk, I need to share what I do, it's all about me. Well, the people who are the most successful at those events are the people who are constantly trying to find value to the other person they're talking to. They're more focused on the other person before being focused on themselves. Caring about other people being successful. And there are some people who are on this call who are absolutely brilliant at that already. But how much you actually care about someone being successful will actually reflect in how many people actually care about you being successful back. So if you're going to places and you're going, oh yeah, well, I've got this person that you can speak to, but you don't really care because it's got nothing to do with you. You're not going to make any business from it. So therefore you half-heartedly go about it. Well, that's what people are doing back for you. So how you go about connecting people, creating opportunities for people, partnering with people, will be a reflection on how people are doing that for you. So are you playing at 100%, or are you only playing at 100% when it actually helps you? And there is another mindset shift that needs to take place. Because whether it helps you or not, playing at 100%, eventually it'll come back and help you. And that's the mindset you need to have. Everything you do when you're a farmer is about planting seeds, is about nurturing seeds, is about being able to harvest seeds when they're ready to be harvested. And what's the seed? Obviously the relationship you have with other people. So therefore, everything you do at every single moment, somewhere down the track, will come back to help you. That is a mindset. So when I go to speak at places, I don't expect things to happen there and then, but I know things always happen down the track, and sure enough, they do. So what are your beliefs around your referral marketing? What are your beliefs around being able to get more referrals? And that's the starting point, because what you're telling yourself will determine your results. So for a lot of people, they could have no referral process in place. They could have no network whatsoever. They could be doing absolutely everything wrong. But if they have the right referral mindset, you're already 75% of the way there. So I always like starting with that, because everything I'm about to share with you will mean absolutely nothing unless you get this part right. Unless you become, how do I become that farmer rather than the hunter? How do I become the giver rather than the taker? How do I add value to people, because I know somewhere down the track that is going to come back and help me? That's the starting point for today. Something that you want to be able to think about before you even start to implement some of the other things. So to me, a referral partner is anyone that wants to help you while you want to help them. So it's not about paying someone, it's not about a one-way street, it's not about taking, it's about two people becoming successful with the same level of desire to want to help one another. So then I take that a step further and I go, a referral partner is somebody that we speak to every single week. It's a 10-minute odd conversation every week, but we are strategizing, how do we get into each other's network? How do we create opportunities for each other? How do we generate new business for each other? And as you'll see when we get into the mistakes section, this is one of the mistakes. Now, referral relationships fizzle out because of the lack of strategy or the lack of communication. So if you're looking right now, and this is what I want you to do, have a look around at your so-called referral partners, and do you have that taking place? Now, if it's about someone getting paid, that's fine, but that's an affiliate, not actually a referral partner. So do you have partners where it is a two-way street, two people really wanting to help each other become successful? And if you do, now you have true referral relationships. Let's have a look at the world today. I think it's a great starting point. So people are trying to fit more into their day, their life, their business than ever before. We're bombarded with hundreds of emails. Most of them we just delete. Very few we actually get a chance of actually reading. We're bombarded with thousands of social media posts. The most we miss most of them. And the ones we get consumed in. And a lot of the time, they don't add value to our life anyway. Most of the time when we receive a call, it's a sales call. It's a telemarketing call. It's a call during dinner time when you don't want to speak to anyone. Very rarely do we get anything in the post besides bills. It's easier to send a text rather than pick up the phone. More people think about themselves and how to make a dollar rather than how someone else can make a dollar. So if we start and we look at that, that now gives us a great understanding of other people. It gives us an understanding of society. It now allows us to start thinking, how do we need to be different? What do we need to do to actually get into a partnership with somebody? Knowing that the other person has all of this going on also. How do we not take the lazy way and we actually become more engaging with other people? So if you look at each of those statements of how the world is operating, what could you do that's completely different that now allows you to stand out? So right now, when it comes to referral marketing, this is what most people do. They turn up to networking events thinking that people actually want your product or service. So therefore, you're there purely to sell, not to partner, not to collaborate, not to open doors for each other. But people turn up to networking events purely to sell. Have meetings with people and share what you do, but don't put in any action steps to help one another. Imagine if every meeting you had, you finished with a simple, what's one thing I could do for you right now? And you both did one thing for each other at the end of that meeting, whether that was to connect you to someone else, whether it was an introduction to an organisation, a supplier, a contractor, whether it was an introduction to a current client that might need you. whether it was to share something that you had that would give you more exposure. Imagine if every meeting you just did one thing for each other. How many meetings do you have? Imagine what that would do, rather than just walking away from a meeting going, oh, that was good, but it was also probably a bit of a waste of time. Imagine if you introduce people like your life depended on it. Not just, oh, so John, please meet Deborah. My hands are washed of it. It's all up to you. Imagine if you actually brought two people together because you saw how they could do things together and you made that happen. Right now, unfortunately, most people go, well, what's in it for me, before they decide whether they're going to help the other person or not. And most people ask for referrals without actually putting success stepping stones in place. I'll give you a great example of something that just took place last night. So I received an email, haven't spoken to this person in, I think, January, as a property manager of ours up in Queensland. And I received an email from them going, Michael, is there any chance that you happen to know other people that are looking for a property manager? So this is what runs through my mind. So I haven't spoken to you in over 6 months. Last time I spoke wasn't a great conversation. And then out of the blue, you request for me to be able to help you. All of us just hearing that go, well, of course you're not going to get the result that you're after. But we do that so many times ourselves because we don't plan out what are the right stepping stones to ensure that we get the success that we're looking for. So the smart thing for them to be able to do would have been to ensure that they enhance the relationship before asking for something. The right thing to do would have been to add more value before asking for something. They're simple little things that people do without even thinking about it, which shoot themselves in the foot. So if we take the way the world looks today, and we take how people are doing things today, without us going any further, I'm sure you can make changes straight away that's going to get you a better result. So let's get into shooting yourself in the foot. When we work so hard to create referral relationships, we don't want to stuff them up. I know we've got some referral partners that we've had now for over 8 years. Yet this is what tends to take place. People will go, oh, we've got the same sort of network or we've got the same sort of clients. Would you like to be referral partners? And the other person goes, yeah, that sounds great. So then they go out and they say, great, we're referral partners. But there's very little communication. There's not really any action steps in place. And eventually that will just fizzle out. And therefore it became a waste of time. And if you do that 4, 5, 6, 7 times over the course of the year, that's tiring. There's no wonder you just give up on it. So we need to be thinking, what can we do to enhance our relationships with our referral partners? And we're going to go through some of that very shortly, but simple things. What do your actions tell others? So are you saying one thing and doing another thing? Are you always saying you're going to do something but never following through? Are you making promises that don't get delivered? What are the actual actions telling other people? What does your image portray? Offline image, online image. And I'm not here to talk about how your image should be. All I'm talking about is what does it portray to others, and is it what you want it to portray? So the way others are thinking of you, is that exactly how you want it to be portrayed? Or is there a mismatch there? What does your character tell others? So in business, and I don't know whether you've ever gone down this path or before, You are a character. It might be yourself, and that's fine, or it might be, this is my character during business time, and this is how I am at home. What does your character tell other people? Is it actually a match to what you want it to be? So if you had a quick little think around my actions, my image, my character, are you on the right track in terms of what you are portraying, what people perceive you as, versus what you actually want it to be? Because in the end, that's all it can be, is perception. So are people having the right perception of you, or do you need to tweak that? Do you need to make some small changes to that? Let's go into some of these mistakes. Our first mistake is failing to find the right partners. It is so easy to be able to just accept anyone as a partner because we're excited that we've finally got a referral partner. And therefore, because we've finally got a referral partner, anyone will do. I'll take whoever comes along because I've never had one before and I've never got referrals before. Getting the right referral partner matters, and it takes time. You might speak to 100 people before you have the right referral partner. If you think your referral partner is the first person that comes along, sorry, it won't be. These are the 4 steps that I tend to go through in making sure that we have the right partners. I ask myself, do they have the same sort of network that I want to be a part of? But more importantly, do they have credibility in their network? So imagine how many people have a network but don't have any credibility in their network. If they don't have any credibility in their network, then no one in their network is going to listen to them. It's a waste of time. So I know someone who has thousands and thousands and thousands of people in their network, but when they talk to their network, they're lucky if 2 people listen because they don't have any credibility in their network. They don't have any engagement with their network. They're always just selling at the network, and the network doesn't pay attention to them. Well, there's no point then being my partner, because when I ask them to go and speak to their network's not going to listen. So therefore, they've really only got 2 people, not thousands of people. Do they have time? So network, credibility in the network are the first two. Do they have time? Someone who goes, oh yeah, let's be referral partners in a few months when I've got more time. Well, no, they're not ever going to have more time unless they change something. And they can change something right now. So I always believe someone goes, I don't have time now, let's look at it in a few more months. Don't waste your time, go find someone else. Don't wait for them, go find someone else. Because they're not ever going to have the right time for you. Do they have the desire to actually want to help you, to follow up with you, to make things happen with you? So do they want to play at the same level you want to play at? And if they don't want to play at that level, that's fine, but that's going to frustrate you. So therefore, you've got to go and find people who are going to play at the level you want to play at. So when you think about those things, they're the things where they're going to help you to be able to start generating referrals. Now, depending at the level you are at, will depend on what you're going to accept as a referral partner. Don't just take anyone. Have your rules. Do they match your rules? So in finding referral partners, I go through these steps. The first step is to ask, would you like to be referral partners? We've got similar networks. We could probably help each other here. Is that something you'd like to do? That's either a yes or a no. And let's assume they say yes, great. Well, what does that referral relationship look like? this is where it falls apart, because we end up on different pages. If I go, well, my referral relationship, I want to be able to get together every week, quick conversations, strategizing how to create business for each other. And your concept of a referral relationship is, well, let's sort of catch up every quarter and we'll see how things are going and just keep an eye out for each other. Well, that can't ever work. We're on completely different pages to start with. I'm going to get frustrated by you because you're not serious enough, and you're going to get frustrated by me because I'm too serious. So you have to have that conversation around, are we on the same path, and what does that path look like? Then we've got to train each other, and I'll go into that shortly as a mistake. So for most people, they never find the right partner because all they do is they go, oh, would you like to be a referral partner? And the other person says, yes, great, let's start. And eventually that's just going to fizzle out because there's not enough structure put around that relationship. So mistake number 2 is failing to train your partners. So before we even start creating any sort of action plans, before we start doing any work with each other, we train one another on how to find referrals for each other. We're pretty much duplicating ourselves. Because if we're going to be referral partners, and now you're going off and finding referrals without me even teaching you how to do that, how can I expect you to be successful at it? How can I expect you to really go out there and know what to listen for, know how to have the right conversations for me, know how to introduce me correctly? How can that all happen if I haven't trained you on how to do that? So we do that with what we call our referral training manual. And you can get a copy of my training manual down the bottom here in red. It's a Word document. And now you have your own manual for you to be able to create to train your partners. So when I combine mistake 1 and mistake 2 together, they're so easy to fix if you follow this 4-step format. And that is, you've got to ask people, do you want to be a referral partner? You've got to have a conversation around what does that referral relationship look like and mean to each of us. Then we've got to train one another. And now we can start putting in place action plans. They're the 4 steps. If it breaks down at any one of those steps, you know it's not the right person. You know it's time to move on. So to be able to get the right sort of partners, there's a little bit of time and effort involved. But imagine the reward you end up getting when you do it right. You have partners for years and years and years and years to come, and not having to find new partners all the time. Now, to me, it doesn't matter whether you are part of a structured referral group, whether you go to networking events, whether you do none of that whatsoever, whether you're just purely online with LinkedIn or something like that. This is exactly the same in all scenarios. In every scenario, you have to go through the 4 steps. You have to train one another if you expect to be able to get referrals from that person. Otherwise, it's like just going to someone you meet at the shopping centre. Oh, this is what I do, blah, blah, blah. I'd love you to be able to pass me referrals. And you might get one every blue moon. And that's not their fault. That's our fault because we haven't taken the responsibility to teach them how to get you more referrals. So I think that another big mistake is that people think that they deserve to be helped first before seeking to help other people. And this is one of the mindset things that we talked about also at the beginning. Seek to help before asking for help. So every conversation you have with people, I think it's always easy to be able to go, so what's one thing I can do for you right now? Who's someone I might be able to connect you to? Is there a way that I could help get your business more exposure? They're such easy little statements to make, yet so powerful in getting people to be able to help you at the same time. If you were just to concentrate for the month of June with every conversation you have, online, phone, face-to-face, just go in, so what's one thing I can do to help you? You'll be amazed how many times that gets asked back and how many things you have happening for you. But set yourself a challenge just to do that for the month of June and see the difference. It is so easy to stand out in other people's minds when you have the thought process of helping others before asking for help. Make it a way of life, because you'll be amazed at how different things are in your world when you start being like that. You'd be one of probably the top 5% of people. More importantly, you will be remembered, because people remember those that go out of their way to add value and help others. Why is that important? Because the more you're remembered, the more opportunities other people will create for you. So in itself, it's a great ploy to get other people remembering you. Fourth mistake is we just don't communicate well with our partners. And that's a little bit about how society is right now. It's very easy to send an email, send a text, send an instant message, rather than picking up the phone. It's very easy to do things the shortcut way. You need to think of your referral partner relationships as your marketing funnel, your marketing channel. The better you communicate with your marketing funnel, the more opportunities they will create for you. The more things they will actually get done for you. So communication is absolutely paramount. I tend to look at it this way. If you knew that you were going to get a new piece of business every time you talk to a referral partner, how often would you talk to them? Yeah, I know most people on the call right now are probably saying, well, I talk to them every day, or I talk to them 5 times a day. That's how important it is. So you don't have to talk to them every day or 5 times a day, but I reckon that's why it's so important to talk to them every week. Now you might go, well, every week's a bit too much. At very worst, every fortnight. It can't be longer than that. The reason why most referral relationships fizzle out is because of lack of communication with one another. I'll do that next week, and next week comes. I'll give them a call Monday. Monday comes. And before you know, the month's already gone. I tend to say it only takes 45 days for you to be forgotten. So if you're not speaking to your referral partner for a month, you're pretty much already forgotten. There's no way that they're going to be creating opportunities for you, because they've got all these other things that have just come onto their plate. So every time you communicate with your partners, you have to create action plans. Don't have conversations for the sake of having conversations. Have conversations for the sake of creating plans. So simple things such as, well, great, what are 3 things I can do for you right now? What's one thing I can do for you this week? It's not very difficult when you have that way of thinking of putting a plan in place. And the plan can be as simple as, well, how do we help each other get more exposure? How do we open up new doors into new networks? How do we create new opportunities? How do we do cross promotions? There are so many things that you can be doing with partners that will generate new referrals, new business. Because the bottom line is generating new business. So create action plans and speak to your partners on a structured, scheduled level. I know with my partners, I've got it scheduled in for the whole of 2016. Same day, same time, every single week. We know that it's going to happen. Because that's when you can create some great momentum. The fifth mistake, real big one, not engaging with your community. So everyone around you that's part of your network is actually part of your community. So your database, your social media platform, friends, family, contractors, staff, clients, prospects, past clients. Everyone around you is part of your community. And this is what tends to happen. We tend to focus on getting new people rather than focusing on engaging with our current people. If you think, how many people make up your community right now? If you were to add up database, social media platforms, networks, partners, clients, prospects, past clients, what's your number? A few hundred, a few thousand, a few tens of thousands? Well, they're all people who are around you right now. They're people who could be opening doors for you. They're people who you could be partnering with. They're people that might have the challenge for your solution. But if you don't engage with them, then you're not going to create any opportunity with them or for them. And that tends to stem because most people only see the people around them as sales. That couldn't be further from the truth. People around you could be a sale, could be a partner, or could be a door opener. That's the way of thinking. So with everyone we've got on the call right now, if I just focus on, everyone's on the call here, let me sell to them. Well, if you didn't have the challenge for our solution, then you're not buying. And therefore, that's a waste of my time and effort. But if I go, well, everyone on the call here, hey, they might have a challenge where I can help them. Great, we'll talk about that. If not, they might have similar networks where we can partner and we can do things together. Fantastic, let's talk about that. And at very worst, well, who's someone I can introduce you to? And then law of reciprocity tends to say, well, you'll say, well, who's someone I can introduce you to? And you've just become a door opener. So imagine if you engage every day back into your community and one of those three things happened at every conversation. You can start to see how all of a sudden the opportunities sitting on the table are enormous. But for most of us, we forget about that and we just focus on the next new person, the next new person, the next new person. Don't waste the time, effort, money that you've spent in building your current community, because those people can be fantastic door openers for you. So we need to engage with our community on a personal level. There's a whole range of ways that you might be able to do that, but in the end, you've got to just do small activities each day that come back and engage with your community. That builds great momentum. Okay, before we go into community engagement, let me just sort of check in there, because we've had sort of a big chunk of information there for sort of 35 minutes. What did you find? Use your little chat box over on the right-hand side. What did you find the most valuable? What questions do you have? Put them into the chat box for me, and let's just take a 60-second stock of where we're at, and then we'll come into this next section and look at how do you become more front of mind and more engaging with your community. So use the chat box, put in there what have you enjoyed so far, any questions that you might have about something so far. Use the chat box and write it in there for me. Yeah, community engagement, great. Training, yeah, brilliant. Schedule conversations, brilliant. Completing essential tasks and doing it, yeah. Introducing businesses you want to work with, lovely. Okay, if a client is on your network but they have been left for a period of time, what is the best way to get back into their mind and daily thinking? Lovely. Kate, I'm going to cover some of that right now in the next in this next little section. It's certainly about how to get front in mind. So most of the time I just do that with personal engagement. So it might just be a simple "How are you?" email. Subject line, hope all is well. Hi, client name. Was just thinking of you the other day. Love to know the sorts of things that you're up to. Look forward to hearing from you. Something just nice and simple where it gives them a chance to bridge the communication that has been left out. But look at some of the ideas that we're about to go through. So good. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, mindset being the most important as the first thing. Yeah, great. Get offline and talk to the community. Love it. Do less better in marketing and referrals. Okay. Okay. Interesting question. I'm not going to actually name the group Scott, just purely because that's not how I want to do it. So the question is, are certain networking groups turning up every single week, fortnight or month useful or a waste of time? I think every networking group has a purpose. Where it becomes a waste of time is if the people in that group don't play at the level you want to play at, or if you don't take the sorts of things we've just been talking about and implement them in your structure. So you have to see yourself as your own networking group. You go to all these different places, but really you are your own networking group. So how you interact with people, the conversations you have with them, how you create opportunities with other people, how you follow up, how you train people, how you engage with those people, they're all the things that will determine whether you are a success as a networking group or not. So it really has got nothing to do with anything you might be a part of. It's purely got to do with how do you do it? How do you operate? And that's the same for your whole network, not even just different networking groups you go to. So for example, I'm going to pop along to an event tonight that I haven't been to for probably over 12 months. Most of the room I'll probably know, but I'm going to hone a couple of different things. I'm looking at the moment for a range of different affiliates, and we're looking for a range of different people to partner with. So I have an outcome of why am I going to that event. When I'm at that event, I want to speak to everybody, and I want to find half a dozen odd people who are going to be key people for me to follow up with in the coming week with phone calls for us to have conversations around how we might be able to help each other. So Scott, that's how I approach me as a networking group. So I don't think it matters what group you go to. They've all got good, they've all got bad, they've all got a mixture of people. It's how you yourself actually see the purpose of why you're going to the group and what do you want to achieve out of it. So hopefully that's been helpful. Okay, let's get on to activating your network. So I've got a whole list of things that you can do that's going to help you be able to activate your network. You're not going to be able to do all of these. What I tend to do is go, great, what are 4 or 5 that I'm going to concentrate on for this particular month? Knowing the more you can get in front of your network, the more exposure you're going to get. Therefore, the more doors are going to get open for you, and you're going to get better leverage into new networks that can help you fill your sales funnel. So I tend to go, this is my front of mind daily plan. So I want to do 4 or 5 activities. It takes me no more than 5 to 10 minutes, and it gets me back front of mind of people who I might not have been front of mind of for a little while. So announcing, pretty simple. Someone in your network has something coming up, announce it for them. Share it with your community. These days with social media, it's just so easy to do so many of these things. Connecting. Huge believer, connect one person in your network with one other person in your network every day. If you did that every day, you then have now 60 people in a month that you are more front of mind of, that think that you're absolutely amazing because you connected them and gave them an opportunity with somebody else. Invite people. So don't ever go anywhere by yourself. Invite people. If they can't come, that's fine. But at least invite them to come along. It's the act of inviting that gets you front of mind again. When people do things great in your network, recognize them. Give them a shout out on your social media. Tell everyone else the great things that they're doing. Horn toot. You know how we say don't toot your own horn, don't tell people how good you are. Well, how about you horn toot other people's horns? So John here is brilliant at XYZ. You should go and connect with him. It's so easy to be able to do that. Again, social media, you just use the @ sign on any social media platform and you tag that person in. Imagine if you wake up and you saw a little message saying that Michael's just mentioned you in a comment. You go look at the comments and it just says how brilliant you are and that people should go and connect with you. How would that make you feel? Yet that's so easy to be able to do. Collaborate with people in your network. As I said earlier, if you're only seeing people in your network as sales, you're leaving so many opportunities on the table. Ask your network, can you collaborate? Promoting people who have things on. Sponsoring people who have things on in your network, people who might need sponsors for things. Easy way to get credibility with that person as well as get exposure into all of their network. So you can start to see, publish information for people, utilizing social media. And that's as simple as just like, sharing, commenting. How do you feel when someone likes, shares, or comments one of your posts? So you could easily just pop on, spend a couple of minutes liking and sharing, commenting people in your network's posts. That gets you front of mind straight away. People in your network who could distribute information, you could distribute information for them. So there's a whole bunch of different ways. The easiest things to be able to do, if you went, I just want to be able to do 3 or 4 to start off in June, connecting, inviting, horn tooting, collaborating, like, share, comment, utilizing social media. There's 5. If you were to put aside 5 minutes a day just to do those things, you'd get front of mind of 10, 15 people in that 5 minutes. 15 people a day, 75 people a week, 300 people a month that you'd be back front of mind again. Remember the simple equation. The more front of mind you are, the more that you are being remembered, and therefore the more opportunities your network will create. that has to be more beneficial and more useful than just posting stuff up on social media, hoping that someone looks at it. So if I had a choice between the two, I'd be doing this first before doing that. Because this is real engagement back with your network. Now, you don't know when that opportunity is going to come. But it certainly can't come if you're not being remembered. And I tend to go, within 45 days, you're forgotten. Every 45 days, you've already forgotten. So you have to keep front of mind of your network if you want to be remembered. So when you add this front of mind plan with a personal engagement plan, engaging with your community on a personal level, it is extremely powerful, the sorts of opportunities that are now going to be created for you. You're now going to have a whole range of things that come off the table. To me, that has to be a smarter way of doing business than constantly paying for new. Where most of the time, the new aren't interested in buying from you right now. But that was always the focus: buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. So two things we need to do. We need to change the focus from buy from me to buy, partner, open doors. And we need to come back and we need to start utilizing everything we've worked so hard to create over the past years. So here's some things that I can help you with right now. So if you're not part of our Business Referral Facebook group, you might not be a part of that at the moment, there's the address, facebook.com/groups/Michael Griffiths. In there are over 800 businesses that are all there for the same reason: to collaborate, to partner, to find new opportunities for each other. It's a group where we don't sell to one another. We're there to actually become better at creating referrals, creating opportunities, creating cross promotions. So if you want to be part of a group that has businesses already in there with that way of thinking, then please go and ask to join that group. Get your copy of your referral training manual. So you just sort of fill in your details, because it comes automatically on an email, and you will get my Word document. Keep the sections, remove my text, and now you can create your own manual within 30 minutes. If you've got a business community, we're always interested in partnering with people who have a business community. So that's just going to our contact form. Please fill in your details. Let us know. Love to be able to have a chat to you. Also, do you have a referral challenge? Put it into that contact form, and I'll actually go through and reply to you and answer to each particular person. So when you go to our contact form, you will see that there's just a little button to click to then get to the actual form to fill it in. And we do it that way just to keep spiders and robots from self-generating forms, because they won't be able to find the form because they're not able to click on it. So that's why we just do an extra step. But there's ways that we can help right now. So please join the group if you haven't joined the group. Make sure you get your referral training manual so you can start training your partners, and tell your partners, go onto the same site, get their manual so that they can start training people too. If you're interested in partnering, hey, please send us a message. If you don't have a business community, let's just say, for example, I'm pretty sure I saw you on the call. Yeah, so let's just take, for example, I'll just use Laurie as the example because I know her business so well. So Laurie's here on the call, doesn't have a business community, but has a parents community. Great. Go onto the closed Facebook, go onto our Facebook group, and you put a message on there. Hey, we'd love to be able to partner with people who have parents communities. Please send me a message so we can talk. That's what that group's there for. So you've got so many opportunities to be able to work with other people. You just need to be proactive and be able to ask people to speak to you. If you've got a referral challenge, a specific one, hey, feel free. Put it in the contact form and I'll actually reply to you. So thank you for joining us. I really appreciate your time and would love for you to be able to be part of our business community there on Facebook. But make sure that you're asking for help, asking for the sorts of people that you'd like to be introduced to. Because unless we ask, we will never get. And I know that we get brought up saying we don't ask, but right now as business owners, it's the opposite. We need to ask. Okay? We need to be there to help one another and support one another. So be part of a community that would like to be able to do that. If you have any questions, please put them into the question box. I will just stop the recording now. So people listening to the recording, I